What makes Marvel Rivals so much fun? Because for a lot of people out there, including me, Marvel Rivals is their first ever hero shooter. They may have dabbled in the past with Overwatch, maybe logging on to play with a few friends, but Marvel Rivals is that real hook that pulled people in for the very first time. And for someone like me, I've played Overwatch before. I've played some FPS games. Nothing has captured me like Marvel Rivals has. And one thing I have to say for sure is when I started playing this game, I really wish it came out 5 years ago during COVID. Imagine how much more fun that would have been, because this game is so addicting. There's just too much you can do. Number one is the breadth of skill expression. So many different characters that you can play, and they're all available on launch. And you could play them all in different play styles. As you know, if you've seen my first video, I play Iron Fist. And the most fun thing about Iron Fist is he has such a unique kit that you could play him in a million different ways. A million different ways. And there's no meta way. I mean, I'm sure over time there will be a meta way to play him, a rotation or a strategy that is just confirmed to work. But there's a million different ways you could play him. And the best part about this character is even though this is a hero shooter, this is a a shooter, keyword shooter, you could play characters that don't even require any aim at all. This is on this is on purpose. This is designed by developers to be accessible. And the best part about it is some people might say in the community that this game is not as skillful as other games. Like, oh, you're playing that hero, the press W hero. At the end of the day, this is a game. And what's most important is it being fun. And I'm so happy that games have evolved, starting with this game. Games have evolved beyond the simple, narrow scope of 95% of your success is your aim. It's it's not that I'm trying to downplay that as a form of fun. It's just that for a lot of players that play it casually, it's not very motivating and not fun to want to get good at just aim. It's kind of boring. For me, it's always been like that. It's like, okay, if I want to rank up, I just get better aim. I'm not interested in doing that. It doesn't really sound like an enjoyable activity for me. But when you're playing Marvel Rivals, you could play any way you want. You could get better in so many different ways. You could have the worst aim in the world, and you could play a character that does not require any aim at all. Any aim. But you could get so skillful at that character and at that playstyle. Like, for example, if you want to play Scarlet Witch, you don't need to aim to play Scarlet Witch, but she has a very unique playstyle. And if you like that playstyle of being sneaky, getting angles, using your abilities properly, mowing down squishies, that character is perfect for you. And it allows you to reach a high level without focusing all your energy on just aim, on that pure, raw mechanical skill. And you can see this across many characters, even some of the support healers that have like soft auto aim, like where you don't need to hit them directly, but it's like a big hitbox around them, like Cloak and Dagger. Luna's kind of the same. You don't really need the best aim to play Luna, but Cloak and Dagger for sure. And there's actually, now that I'm talking about it, there's a lot of characters in the game that you don't really need the best aim. And I think this is one of, it may be a major reason that there's such a rank inflation. Um, Although I think that probably has more to do with their very generous rank up system with the points. All the way up to like diamond, you gain like way more than you lose. Plus the chrono shield when you lose four. I think it was four. It's very generous. Um, but that is for me one of the top reasons that this game is so much fun is just the pure range of skill expression. Certain characters may have like different characters also have different ceilings and floors um, that also depend on the rank you're in. Now, for Iron Fist specifically, it is a very low floor on lower ranks. It is very easy, but when you get to higher ranks, the floor gets really high, and it also gets so hard to extract value out of that character. But there's so many different ways you could play that character that you could find value in plenty of different ways. Captain America, kind of the same thing. It's a very difficult character to get value, but there's still so many people out there that main that character. Why? Because it's fun. And that is the most important thing about this game is the fact that it's fun. Even when you're playing competitive, a mode that you think would be just pure toxic and it kind of is with the chat, people are going crazy. You lose the first round, people are toxic as fuck. It is unbelievable. So toxic. Even in lower ranks. In fact, there's like a bell curve. It's like the really low ranks, it's not very toxic. Kind of then as you get up to like gold, it gets really toxic. And then when you get to like platinum, it kind of decreases again. And I would say it peaks around diamond to GM, maybe celestial, and then toxicity dies off in like the top 500 a little bit. But it's just that weird curve. But anyways, the game is just really, really toxic in general. But despite that, it is just so much fun. Another huge reason this game is successful is literally the characters. This is the Marvel universe. They are leveraging this universe so well. Every character that you play, it literally feels like you are that character. And I think the best example is probably Spider-Man. It is unbelievable the approach they decide to take, because Spider-Man is one of the most beloved characters by especially the younger audience who may not be super good at video games. Younger people who may be quick play enjoyers, talking under 14 probably. Um, you have a lot of cracked up kids between 14 to 18 that are probably some even the top 500. Kids are really, especially Fortnite. Fortnite was like the big generational leap where everyone realized, oh shit, kids are really good at this shit. But the characters, like, anyways, Spider-Man is the perfect example because you expect certain things out of that character because it's Spider-Man, and you get exactly what you expect. And what's crazy is it's hard. It's one of the hardest characters in the game. Probably top 3 hardest characters in the game is Spider-Man. They went for the lore accurate approach over the accessible approach, and that was ballsy as fuck. And it's what makes people that play Spider-Man love it so much. You are literally Spider-Man. It is such a fluid web swinging mechanism. And the way you attack, the way every way you play that character is literally Spider-Man. They could not have done a better job. And it really speaks volumes about their intent with this game when you see a character that they had such an obvious lure to the younger audience, but they went for the lore accurate approach. The lore accurate approach. They did not go for the accessible approach. And you see this across all the characters. They are so accurate to the way they be played. Captain America, he does his job. It's exactly how you'd expect Captain America to play. Wolverine, maybe I know people have been complaining about his lack of self-healing, but let's be honest, if he had that, he'd be broken. Black Widow, a little bit disappointing for her kit. She needs some buffs. But she also plays how you'd expect Hulk. Exactly how you'd expect Hulk to play. He's just this big hulking machine that just runs in. And Iron Man too, even Iron Man, you literally fly around as Iron Man. You have your pulse cannon, you have your basic shots, and one of the coolest ults in the game, maximum pulse. It's so cool. And then even the voice lines, like I have to admit, the voice acting in this game is actually incredible. Like a lot of the ults, they're so memorable. Scarlet Witch ult probably for me is number 1, but maybe because I've heard this one so much. But Hela, the actual quality of the voice actors is just incredible. It's even when you're in the spawn room and you just hear like the raccoon and Groot interacting, or the raccoon Rocket with Punisher, and he's like, "I want to buy your wet." Like the actual quality of the voice acting and the lore, the actual like story you learn just by playing the game, just by entering a game, you can hear such cool lore about the Marvel universe. And the most important thing is this is a household name. This is Marvel. Everyone knows Marvel, and so the amount of pre-existing knowledge everyone has, it makes it more enjoyable when you already know things about the characters, and then you log into the game and you hear these things, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or who's this superhero? I didn't know. And you can just click on the button for information, and you could learn everything about that superhero in the game. You don't need to search it up outside. It's all in there. And oh man, the more I talk about it, the more I just realize how unbelievable amazing this game is. And you can see with the player retentions, I think it had like a 90 to 95% retention from its peak. That is crazy for a game like this to have 95 or 90% retention of its peak. It's unbelievable. And their promise of a new hero every, like, I think a month and a half, I think it was, is just crazy. And they're all free. And every game I play, there's not a single game I play where I don't see someone with a paid skin. The reason why is because everyone loves this game so much they want to support it. because it's free. The game is free, the heroes are free. Nothing is content gated. You couldn't get any better than this in terms of monetization. I really don't think it gets any better than this. And even a lot of the skins, there are so many skins you can get that are even free. And so in terms of monetization, it also doesn't get any better. So you have just unbelievable Marvel universe. You have the beautiful level of skill expression across all these different characters. There's a character for you. Maybe some people don't have one, but it's a very, very small minority of people that don't have a character that plays for them. And at the rate they promise to release characters, if you really don't have a character that feels like it's for you, hopefully at some point you will, because they're going to be releasing many characters. Um, and on top of that, you have just their pure devotion to fun. The balance in this game isn't the greatest, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it so fun. You play a character that you feel like you can get away with something. You find a new playstyle, a new way of playing a character, and it destroys the enemies, and you feel like I earned that. I thought of this. I'm doing it. And it feels so good because you could think, okay, in the next game, what should I do differently? I keep losing. I could try this. I could try, I could try taking this angle. Oh, I found a nice spot on the map that you kind of camp in every game. You wait till the cart goes over, and you're like, this is my spot. I can get them without them seeing. I just sit here and wait. There's so many different ways you could play that it's just so much fun. Um, and I think with the season one patch notes, I really liked to see those changes they made because it didn't feel like they didn't really tune any of the ults. They were not aggressively tuning any of the overpowered characters. The Hela and Hawkeye nerfs, I think, were on point. They were minor. They were not major. They were minor enough to knock them out of the bannable tier. Kind of. Sometimes they could get banned, but they're not banned that much anymore. But they're still really good characters that you can get a lot of value out of very easily. And all that from slight nerfs. And then they buffed a lot of the underperforming heroes, and that was their biggest priority. Is I think the worst way to approach a game like this is just by focusing on bringing the overpowered heroes down and less focus on bringing the weaker ones up, because the game like this is so fun right now because there's so many overpowered things. The Groot Moon Knight ult combo, it's almost a guaranteed team wipe. It is so overpowered, but they didn't nerf it, and I don't think they will because that's the philosophy they have with this game. It's just pure fun. Now you could counter it maybe if if you're playing on a high level and you expect they're going to do this combo. There are ways to counter it. There are some ults you can't really counter, like if the Moon Knight ults you and you're kind of in the center when he does it and you're squishy, you're probably just going to die. But that's part of the game. It's part of the game because you also have an ult where you can do the same thing to them. It's double-sided, right? So they can do it to you, but you can do it to them. And that's what's the most fun thing about this game, is they don't have any restrictions on the power of ults. The Scarlet Witch ult, for example, at face value, if you're maybe in quick play, it seems like it's extremely overpowered because it's an insta-kill. She just pops it. You hear the most iconic line of the game, and then you're all just dead. But it's honestly, as you go up in ranks and you start playing the game more, you realize, okay, it's very easy to counter. That something like the Moon Knight ult is much more difficult. But even something like Storm's ult seems like it's a guaranteed kill. Like there's no way to counter it, you just die. But the way you counter it is you just save a support ult. It's like you have to save a support ult. If you save a Luna or a Mantis or a Cloak ult, they'll never get a kill. You have to hold those ults. And so as you progress and to become higher ranks, you realize, okay, there's ways to move around this. There's way you can get around this. And if you have a Storm on your team, maybe as an Iron Fist, my job would be, okay, I'm going to ult first and get them to use their support ult. And then Storm can ult after. And then we kill them. And so the dynamics of playing around ults, it makes it so much fun because ults fundamentally, even though they're so strong and they take over most of the game, they're fun as fuck. They're just fun as fuck. And that's what it comes down to, is having fun playing this game. Using ults in this game is just so much fun. Anyways, I think that's all the reasons I have for today. So if you guys like the video, please like, subscribe, and come check me out on Twitch. I'll be live streaming there. Peace out. Take care, guys.